the resurrection and forgiveness. 6 keys to healing. My dear friend, there are moments in life when the soul becomes weary, when the heart feels too heavy to carry, when everything inside us seems to crumble in silence. We may smile on the outside, but within, something feels lost, as if the light we once knew has dimmed. Perhaps you have known that kind of pain. The pain of betrayal, the ache of loss, the sting of regret, or the quiet sadness that never seems to leave. And yet, even in those moments, when everything seems to fade, there remains one truth: love never dies. It may seem buried beneath the dust of sorrow, but it still breathes, waiting to rise again. That is the mystery of resurrection. Not only Christ's resurrection, but the resurrection that happens within each of us when love overcomes despair, when forgiveness triumphs over bitterness, when grace is stronger than guilt. You see, resurrection is not only a miracle that happened long ago, it is the gentle work of God that continues every day, in hearts that choose to hope, in souls that choose to forgive, in lives that choose to love again. Every time we rise after falling, every time we begin again after loss, every time we open our hearts despite pain, we are living proof that the power of resurrection is still alive. But there is something beautiful and mysterious about this process. Before resurrection comes surrender. Before healing comes the courage to face our wounds. We cannot be reborn if we refuse to acknowledge what has died. We cannot be healed if we keep pretending that we are not hurt. True healing begins when we dare to bring our brokenness into the light. When we stop running, stop hiding, and finally whisper, "Lord, here I am." And it is in that quiet surrender that grace begins its sacred work. Because God does not come to the strong, but to the wounded. He does not seek perfection. He seeks honesty. When you come before Him as you truly are, fragile, uncertain, imperfect, He does not turn away. He kneels beside you, touches the wound, and begins to breathe new life into what once was lifeless. This is the heart of resurrection. Not escape, but transformation. Not denial, but renewal. It is a moment when light finds its way into the darkest corners of your soul and whispers, "You are not finished yet." And so, my friend, as we walk together through this reflection, the resurrection and forgiveness, 6 keys to healing, I invite you to open your heart. You do not have to understand everything. You do not need to have all the answers. All you need is a small spark of willingness to listen, to feel, to let grace move within you. Because this journey is not about changing who you are. It is about remembering who you truly are. A beloved child of God, capable of forgiveness, worthy of love, destined for resurrection. So take a deep breath. Let go of everything that weighs you down, and allow these words to guide you gently toward the light of truth, of love, and of rebirth. Key 1. Seeing your wounds in the light of truth. My dear friend, to begin the journey of resurrection and healing, we must first dare to look at the wounds within our hearts. Not to reopen old pain, but to realize that deep within those places of hurt, the light of truth is waiting to be kindled. Some wounds seem to have fallen asleep in the past, yet in truth they still whisper to us every day through the way we react, through our unspoken fears, through the tears we cannot name. Many people choose to forget, to avoid, to bury their pain deep inside. But you know, wounds do not disappear simply because we refuse to see them. They are healed only when brought into the light of truth, of love, and of God. When you look at your wounds, look at them with light, not with darkness. Do not see them with condemnation, but with compassion. Do not ask, "Why did this happen to me?" Instead, gently ask, "Lord, what are you trying to teach me through this?" Every pain carries a sacred message. You may not see it yet, but sometimes it is the very breaking that makes us more tender, more understanding, more capable of compassion toward the suffering of others. When Jesus Christ was wounded, in his hands, his side, his brow, those were not just marks of pain, but symbols of love. The love that accepts suffering to redeem humankind. Those wounds, when seen in the light of truth, are no longer signs of destruction, but signs of redeeming love. And you too, no matter how deep your wounds may be, can become a living witness of grace if you dare to see them in the light of truth and faith. For God cannot touch the wound we hide, but when we open our hearts and bring it into the light, he can lay his loving hand upon it and begin the work of resurrection. The wound is no longer a burden. It becomes a window for light to enter. Do you see now? Forgiveness and healing cannot begin with denial. They can only begin with the light of acknowledgement. And when you view your pain in the light of truth, you realize that no suffering is meaningless. Every tear is seen by God. Every hurt can become fertile soil where love takes root. So, the first key to resurrection is this: look upon your wounds in the light of truth. Do not be afraid to face your past. Let God walk beside you through it. For when you dare to look directly into your own darkness, you will discover that at the very end of the night, there is still a light. And that light is God waiting for you to come home. Key 2. Learning to forgive and find freedom. My dear friend, somewhere deep inside every heart, there is always someone we have not yet forgiven. It might be the one who hurt us, or it might be ourselves, the person we blame, the one we find hardest to face. Forgiveness, it sounds simple, yet it is one of the hardest lessons in the journey of the soul. Because forgiveness is not an act of words, it is an act of the heart. When we are hurt, our first instinct is to close off. We build a wall around the wound, hoping it will protect us from being hurt again. But that same wall soon becomes a prison, keeping not only others out, but also keeping love and peace from entering. We think that by holding on to anger, we are punishing those who wronged us. But in truth, we are the ones imprisoned by our own bitterness. Hatred burns not in the one who caused the pain, but in the one who carries it. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It does not mean approving of what was wrong. It simply means that we are choosing love over resentment, peace over pain. It is saying, I will not let this wound define me anymore. To forgive is to place our pain in the hands of God, to trust Him with what we cannot control. When we forgive, we are not declaring that the other deserves mercy. We are declaring that we ourselves deserve peace. Maybe you've asked, what if I don't feel ready to forgive? That's all right. Forgiveness doesn't begin as a feeling. It begins as a decision. Even if your heart is not there yet, your will can lead the way. Just say, Lord, I want to forgive, and He will do the rest. He will touch that wound and gently turn it into a scar of healing. You see, forgiveness is one of the greatest miracles of the spiritual life. Because when you forgive, you allow life to flow again. You stop being the person trapped by yesterday's sorrow, and you become a new soul filled with peace, grace, and light. Forgiveness is the first sign that resurrection has begun within you. So, if today there is someone in your heart who still causes you pain, say softly, I forgive you. Whether or not they ever hear it, it doesn't matter. The one who truly needs to hear it is your own soul. And if the person you need to forgive is yourself, say it with love. I forgive me, because you cannot step into resurrection while still hating the person you used to be. Remember this, God has already forgiven you. His love was never withdrawn, not even in your darkest moments. So let His grace flow through you, washing away every trace of shame and regret. When you forgive, you become a vessel of that same divine love, carrying light into the world. Forgiveness is the key that unlocks the heart. And when your heart is free, resurrection truly begins. Key 3. Healing yourself through the love of God. My dear friend, many of us spend our whole lives trying to love others, to give, to help, to care. Yet deep inside, we carry a quiet ache, the inability to truly love ourselves. We often speak gently to those we care for, but harshly to our own souls. We forgive others with ease, but struggle to forgive the person we see in the mirror. We call ourselves unworthy, unlovable, beyond repair. But none of these words come from God. They come from the wounds that have not yet been healed. To be healed by God's love is to let His gaze meet yours, not the gaze of judgment, but of infinite tenderness. When God looks at you, He doesn't see your mistakes, your failures, or your shame. He sees His child bruised, yes, but still precious, still loved. In His eyes, you have never ceased to be worthy of love. Sometimes the hardest person to forgive is ourselves. We look back on choices we regret and think, if only I had known better. But listen, God was there even then. He saw your struggle. He understood the pain behind every wrong step. And He never stopped loving you. His love is not earned. It is given freely, again and again, until your heart finally believes it. So if you wish to heal, begin here. Speak kindly to yourself. Bless your past instead of condemning it. Thank God for every lesson that shaped you, even the painful ones. Allow yourself to feel His presence within you, like a quiet warmth that never fades. You are not what happened to you. You are not your failures or your wounds. You are the beloved of God, chosen, cherished, and redeemed. The more you rest in that truth, the more your soul will begin to mend. Healing yourself through the love of God is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you truly are, His beloved child, radiant with grace, made in His image. And when you finally begin to see yourself through that love, you will notice that your heart has changed. You will treat yourself more gently. You will forgive more easily. You will walk lighter, breathe deeper, and live with quiet confidence, because you will know God's love has made you whole again. So take this moment to whisper, Lord, teach me to love myself as you love me. That is where true healing begins. Not in striving, but in surrendering. Not in perfection, but in love. Key 4. Accepting the journey and letting go of the burdens of the past. My dear friend, one of the hardest lessons in the spiritual life is acceptance. To accept what has been, what is, and what we cannot change. We often carry the past on our backs like a heavy load, believing that if we hold on long enough, maybe it will somehow make sense. But the truth is, healing does not come from carrying, it comes from releasing. There are moments when you look back and feel regret for what you did not do, for words you wish you could take back, for roads you should or should not have taken. And there are wounds that come not from what you did, but from what was done to you. Yet, no matter what form the pain takes, one thing is certain: you cannot walk freely toward the light if you keep looking over your shoulder at the darkness behind you. Letting go is not forgetting. It is not pretending that the past never happened. Letting go is learning to make peace with what was, trusting that God can bring good even out of pain. When you release your grip on the past, you are not losing anything. You are simply freeing your hands so that God can place something new within them. You see, my friend, God is not only found in the victories, He is also in the mistakes, the losses, the detours. He was with you in every moment you thought you were alone. And if you look closely, you'll realize that even the painful paths led you closer to Him. When you let go, you make space for grace. When you stop clinging to what was, You open your heart to what can be. And when you trust that your journey, with all its shadows and light, is guided by divine hands, you begin to live with serenity. So if you are still carrying the weight of something, a memory, a name, a what if, take a moment now. Close your eyes. Imagine yourself placing it gently in God's hands. Feel the release in your chest. Breathe again. You don't have to carry it anymore. Remember, you are not defined by what you've lost, but by how you've risen. The past has shaped you, but it does not own you. Let the road behind you be blessed, and then step forward lighter, freer, ready for resurrection. For the fourth key to resurrection is this: accept the journey and let go of the weight of the past. Because only when your hands are empty can you fully receive the gift of new life that God is offering you. Key 5. The courage to embrace forgiveness and be reborn in love. My dear friend, to forgive is divine, but to accept forgiveness, that is where the deepest healing begins. Many souls spend years believing that they have been forgiven by God, yet they cannot forgive themselves. They carry the memory of their sins, their failures, their broken promises, like chains around the heart. They pray for mercy, yet secretly feel unworthy of it. But God's love is not something we must deserve. It is something we must receive. To accept forgiveness is to have the courage to believe that grace is stronger than guilt, that mercy is greater than shame, that the love of God has already covered everything we could ever regret. When Christ died on the cross, his final words, "It is finished," were not just about his suffering, but about ours too. In that moment, the debt was paid. The past was redeemed. The door to new life was open forever. But forgiveness requires courage. The courage to believe that you are truly loved, even after everything. It takes courage to look at your past and still say, "I am worthy of love because God has chosen to love me." That courage comes not from pride, but from faith, because faith says, "I trust his word more than I trust my shame." If you've ever felt too broken to be loved, remember this: the risen Christ still bore his scars. He did not hide them, he transformed them. His wounds did not disappear, they became symbols of victory. Your scars can become the same, not signs of what destroyed you, but signs of what love has healed. Let his forgiveness wash over you like a gentle river. Let it flow into every corner of your heart, cleansing the memories that still haunt you. Let it whisper to you, "You are free, you are loved, you are mine." And when that forgiveness has settled deep into your soul, let love flow outward. The love that once you were afraid to give it now. The love that once you thought you didn't deserve, share it freely. Because when love moves through you, resurrection becomes not just something you believe in, but something you embody. Be courageous, my friend. To open your heart to love again after pain is one of the bravest things a soul can do. But it is also the most beautiful. For every time you love, you are reborn. So take a deep breath and whisper, "Lord, I receive your forgiveness. I accept your love. I choose to live again." That is the moment of resurrection. That is the miracle of grace. Because when you finally let yourself be loved, you are no longer who you were. You are who you were always meant to be. Key 6. Living fully in the grace of resurrection each day. My dear friend, the journey of resurrection does not end on the morning Christ rose from the tomb. It is not only a story of the past or a symbol we remember once a year. Resurrection is a living miracle, a divine rhythm that continues every single day, in every breath, in every act of love, in every choice to forgive. Each time you choose kindness over bitterness, you are rising again. Each time you offer compassion instead of judgment, You are stepping out of the tomb of your own pride. And each time you believe that good can still come from pain, you are living in the light of resurrection. To live in the grace of resurrection does not mean that life will be free of struggles. It means that even in your struggles you will see with the eyes of faith. You may not understand why certain storms come, but you will know that Christ walks beside you through them all. When you choose to trust, even when you cannot see, you are already living in His victory. God never promised a smooth road. He promised His presence, and that presence, quiet, steady, and tender, is what gives meaning to everything you face. Every trial becomes a place where grace can bloom. Every tear becomes a seed of compassion. Every moment of weakness becomes an opportunity for His strength to shine through you. You do not need great miracles to know that Christ is alive. Every heartbeat, every breath, every act of goodness is proof that His Spirit is within you. Each day that you love, forgive, and believe is a new resurrection. Because Christ did not only rise in a distant moment of history, He rises within you, here and now, in your tenderness, in your faith, in your quiet courage to begin again. So live as a witness of light. Let those who meet you feel peace, hope, and love. That is how resurrection continues, through you, through your life, through your love. And when the night feels long, remember, the light of God has never gone out. It burns within you, guiding you home. The final prayer, the heart that has been resurrected. Now, my friend, as our journey comes to an end, take a moment to be still. Breathe deeply. Close your eyes. Feel the quiet within. You are not just listening now. You are living in the grace of God. Whisper softly in your heart, Lord, thank you for walking with me through my darkest nights. Thank you for not abandoning me when I was weak, for holding me when I was lost. I bring to you all my wounds, my memories, my hidden pain. Shine your light upon them, Lord, and turn them into peace. Set me free, heal me, renew me. Let these words settle into your soul like warm light. Let them open the door to a new beginning, because resurrection is not only what Christ did, it is what He continues to do in you. Every time you choose love over fear. Love is stronger than death. Love is deeper than sorrow. Love is the eternal presence of God within you. The love that forgives, restores, and makes all things new. Each morning, you wake is a new chance to begin again, to love more deeply, to forgive more freely, to live more gently. This is resurrection, not the absence of suffering, but the triumph of love through it. Wherever you are, whatever you have endured, know this: God still calls your name with tenderness. You are never too far, never too broken, never too late. His love is not behind you. It is here, now, within you. And as you walk forward from this moment, carry these words in your heart. I am loved. I am forgiven. I am reborn. For when you truly believe those words, the miracle of resurrection has already begun. May the light of the risen Christ shine upon you. May your heart be healed. May your eyes be open to see goodness in all things. And may you live each day in peace, in grace, and in the everlasting love of the one who has conquered death.